Yo, my Star Citizens and Noob Gamers. Welcome back to another episode of Star Citizen with me, Menix. And today's episode is a very noob reaction. And today I'm going to be reacting to Inside Star Citizen First Person Assertion. This is a replay from the live video. I've cut this one down. And so we hope you like this one, guys. If you do, don't forget to take that point and tickle that like button. Run the intro. So a little bit of housework to go through, guys. The code dropping down is a code we picked at random from our comment section. If you've subscribed to the channel and you want your code to show, just leave your code in the comment section and we'll pick one at random as we always do. And for the people that are new to Star Citizen, if you use that code, you'll get 5,000 credits when you create a new account at RSI, and that person will get pushed up in the rankings and earn some goodies as well. So that's that. So today I'm going to be looking at the video Inside Star Citizen First Person Assertion, and it's talking about the new changes coming for the first person shooting part of Star Citizen, and it's going to be my live reaction. So this is a video this video has been cut from the live that I did. So I did it as a live event, and I'm probably going to try and do that every Friday. So when the Inside Star Citizen 1 comes out, I think on a Thursday, and then the Star Citizen Live comes out on the Friday, I'll try and do them both into one live session on the Friday. So let's get into this one, guys. We hope you like the video. If you do, don't forget to take that point to tickle that like button for us. Also check out the description for the Discord link and links for playing with the org, which is Noob Gaming. And if you want to help out the channel further, you can hit that join button and pick a membership, and from there you'll be helping the channel out greatly. So we hope you like this one, guys. Let's go into this one.
At first glance, Star Citizen is a game about spaceships. But when you look under the surface, we're really building a universe of the first person, with trading and lading, exploration, and devastation. And over the next few weeks, we'll be exploring such character-related features as the new personal persistent hangars, new visor, lens, inventory, and shopping apps, the character customizer, which is so good I'm just going to already tell you we're covering that next week, and much more. But before we leave our combat era of aUEC, this week we're sitting down with members of Team Nuck. We really got to get these new teams new names. To discuss all the FPS combat related changes coming in Alpha 3.23. Let's find out more.
How do you Ripper up? You doing good? Can you hear the audio as well?
Go on then. Get the power shot. It's a bit awkward sitting down.
Oh, wow, you're so cool.
I know. My mom thinks I'm wicked, mate.
That's Terminator, isn't it? I want your clothes, your bike, your glasses. Here you go. That's about as good as my aim, that. That's about as good as my guns do.
This game is 930 years in the future. Why does reloading matter?
Reloading, I think, matters because from a player perspective, it makes you think ahead of the combat that you're about to go into.
Because it's part of a classic FPS experience. I think it adds to the tactical element of gameplay, thinking on the fly, and it's also quite satisfying to reload weapons. I find it satisfying anyway.
You give a little bit of thought that the situation you're going to put yourself into, it feels a bit more immersive.
We obviously have a bit more of a complex system with our magazines. So we obviously have magazines on the suit, and we also have magazines in your backpack.
You need to make sure that these magazines are as full as possible. So we are making you think ahead about the combat situation that you're going to go into.
So for Alpha 3.23, reloading is kind of two parts. First you've got your backpack reloading, and then you've got your ammo repooling.
So backpack reloading solves a problem where, for example, you find yourself in a situation in a combat and you need to reload, but you don't have any spare mags on your suit, but you have in your backpack.
What you can do now is pull additional magazines from your backpack at the cost of an increased reload time.
It was just filling up a lot of your inventory, so we basically decided with backpack reloading that we wanted to kind of condense that gameplay and just do it more on the fly.
So that's going to be a good thing for me, that, because the amount of times I forget to put clips here. Sorry guys, if you don't want me to pause the video, I'm going to keep pausing it at times just to give my reactions to the parts on it. But yeah, it's a problem all the time, not having enough spaces here, and so having it on your backpack is going to be a good thing. Yeah, I'm looking forward to that, but increased loading time, so we'll see how it goes on. One sec, I just need to do something. I forgot to do something earlier. 1 second, guys. This is the thing when you're rushing to get online and you don't get a chance to do anything. Just got to transfer some money over to my other card so my partner can eat. Sorted. I'm going to let Killfanis know I'm live. So, yeah, that's a good thing. What do you guys think? Also, I'll try and read the comments when I can, guys. Let me know your thoughts as well.
It is a reload, but it takes a little bit longer. It's going to play a very simple animation. So the combat flow isn't broken, but you still need to think ahead because this long reload duration can be painful in the combat if you're not careful.
Because we really want to incentivize players to think about when they're going into combat, what they need to think about, how much magazines they want to keep on them and how much they want in their backpack.
The last thing you really want to do is pull out, open a UI and pull out magazines from here and move them across there. This allows you to keep in the combat, in the action, without having to go through inventory menus.
You will be able to see how many magazines on your suit and how full they are, and a backpack icon if you have magazines on your backpack. And if you see no magazines icon but a backpack icon, then you will understand that the next reload you're going to do is going to be a backpack reload. So it keeps you in the flow, but it forces you to wait a little bit.
I didn't catch it, Paranoid, whether he did say that. I can go back and check that in a sec. Yeah, Ripper, something I've got to do is to make sure I've got a compressor sidechained. I did see you the other day, Ripper, on Cubase. It showed you on the Discord on Cubase. If you fancy a chat about that stuff, I've got a new channel called No Nonsense Music Tips and Studio Life. If you want to check them out, Ripper, they're in my thing. because I've got a recording studio. If you want to chat about that stuff, then let me know. Howdy, people, you're right.
The punishment of not preparing yourself is still there, but it's lighter, it's more forgiving.
I'll go back to that Paranoid for you, where it said about
It is a reload, but it takes a little bit longer. It's going to play a very simple animation. So the combat flow isn't broken, but you still need to think ahead because this long reload duration can be painful in the combat if you're not careful.
Because we really want to incentivize players to think about when they're going into combat, what they need to think about, how much magazines they want to keep on them and how much they want in their backpack.
The last thing you really want to do is pull out, open a UI and pull out magazines from here and move them across there. This allows you to keep in the combat, in the action, without having to go through inventory menus.
You will be able to see how many magazines on your suit and how full they are, and a backpack icon if you have magazines on your backpack. And if you see no magazines icon but a backpack icon, then you'll understand that the next reload you're going to do is going to be a backpack reload.
So where's that? Where's that on here? Can you guys see it? There. So that means his next reload is going to be by backpack, which is going to make it a longer reload.
So it keeps you in the flow, but it forces you to wait a little bit. The punishment of not preparing yourself is still there, but it's lighter, it's more forgiving.
So with repooling, the idea being that if you've got lots of, let's say, we take a 30 mag ballistic magazine, let's say you've got 15, 15, 15, you've got 3 half-empty magazines. The idea being is you just hit a key binding, the animation will play like a rummage, and basically those magazines will condense down into full magazines and then automatically discard the empty ones.
As a result of this problem.
So again, that's another good idea. People, I'm good fella. Ripper, yeah, definitely. We'll have a talk about that. That's another good idea, because the amount of times I've gone in and I've got 3 or 4. I think they said you still will have the 3 or 4. So if you still end up putting the 3 or 4 magazine into your gun, you're still only going to have 3 or 4, but you can now pool it with the say keybind. So that's going to pool. Say if you've got 3 lots of 3, that will make it into a 9. But there's going to be an animation, so that's going to be really good. Yeah, it's looking really good, isn't it?
You will save your precious suit item ports, and then you will have your ammo condensed into your fuller magazine, so you're ready to unleash their full potential onto your enemies.
So with our new UI display HUD, we've basically got a number of the bullets in your magazine, and then we've also got a number of your combined bullets on your total player.
And duration of this operation is going to depend on how much ammo you're shifting around and the type of ammo that you're shifting around. So repulling pistol magazines is going to take a different amount of time than repulling rockets, for example.
That means that we're spending less time in the inventory screen and more time actually in gameplay.
This all will be in 3.23, but after that we will be looking into throwables and consumables. So you will be able to repull your grenades and your med pens, and there are still a couple of unclear points about some weapons. For example, multi-tool and...
How do you repull grenades? Yeah, it does look like it's only backpacks only. Paranoid Android, and another reason I keep stopping it is because obviously the sound of it is going to go over my voice, so it's another reason I'll stop it. But yeah, it gets rid of the empty ones as well, and that should be good. But the only thing is, Ripper, are those empty? Are we going to be walking around like it's like a scrapyard when we've been in a fight for Jumptown? It's just empty clips everywhere, or are they just going to end up disappearing over time? That's the thing to think about.
It's
so yeah. How do you repool grenades? You get 1 grenade. You don't get 3 grenades, and that's going to be a weird one. I don't know what they mean by that.
Which canisters? We're still exploring what options we have over there.
So recoil is part of the identity of the weapon, and it will also allow players to express their skill in a certain way. We have different kinds of recoil, very subtle recoils and very wild recoils, and depending on that you can paint an image of either this is a very harsh, very aggressive assault rifle, or a very gentle pistol, maybe even with a silencer on top of it. When I've been watching CitizenCon and we showed the new recoils, one of the biggest feedbacks was those are laser weapons. They don't have recoil.
Oh god, if I see one more forum post about like why do laser guns not, well, why don't laser guns have recoil? It drives me up the wall.
Laser weapons in the first place, like we have them, are really unrealistic for themselves, right? There are no big laser projectiles that come out of weapons. So giving them recoil is very sensible for a game. I think getting rid of recoil in that sense is just boring gameplay.
It's fun. It needs to be in there. You know, you need a challenge when shooting people, you need a challenge when tracking people.
I think you need recoil in order to balance the game and make it fun for everybody.
Everyone would be running around with lasers, no recoil. You imagine that? It'd be like, jeez. Recoil is a massive thing when fighting because it puts you off, especially if you've got flinch and stuff like that. I've turned down the audio of this. Hopefully you can still hear me over it when I'm talking now, and hopefully it's not too quiet. Let's get back into it.
You'll see in 3.22 we put the new procedural recoil in, and it looks mint, I think personally. The weapons now use our entirely new procedural system, and the nice thing about the procedural system is it means that we can basically have shot-to-shot differences be massive. So you'll see when you fire the P4 now, it can basically be an entirely different bit of your screen than it was in the previous shot. Whereas before we had a very linear motion. Imagine before the recoil would essentially go like this on your camera.
See, I liked that then. I really liked that then. Do you see this thing that came up here?
The screen than it was in the previous.
I like that. That's so much better than the one they have at the moment. The one they have at the moment just gets in the way because it's not got no back drop to it. Really like that. That's really good. Alex, I hope you're doing good, bud. Mint.
Previous shot. Whereas before we had a very linear motion. Imagine. Before the recoil would essentially go like this on your camera. But now it can be, you know, kind of doing this all around the place. Far more aggressive, and the overall feeling of it is like, oh my god, this is actually a gun.
We are.
So some of this is in 320.
We're going to watch this one, Rowan, and then we're going to go on to the new one, which is the Master Mode question and answers thing.
2, and some more is coming in 323. So, for example, the sniper rifles. These are going to have, the majority of sniper rifles will have the new procedural recoil, and the majority of the pistols will have the new procedural recoil. So you'll see some of the pistols, their personality will have changed a little bit, but their functionality will still be the same. And you'll see the snipers basically feeling a lot more powerful and angry, as you've seen with the other weapons that have had their passes.
And with the new recoil system, this just feels like a real weapon, and it feels like this thing just has impact, right?
You know, you want your weapon to feel angry. If the weapon is just stable and still on the screen, you'd be like, oh, this feels pants. So we have not only just scopes, we have a whole new suite of iron sights for the majority of our weapons. So what this has done is we've essentially got stuff that has raised the camera upwards and given a better target acquisition window. This is obviously with a lot of sci-fi guns. They're very chunky, they're very kind of fat, which is just how a lot of sci-fi things are. So naturally, we've managed to improve upon this by saying, hey, you've still got that fat chunkiness, but we've raised the camera up and we've managed to make the sightline cleaner for your, for example, your Kana rifle. On the scope side of things, we've basically overhauled how they work. So previously, if you were looking at anything that is, you know, an 8 times or above, it would basically have a black border around the actual scope bit itself. But now that is gone.
That's much better. That's so much better, being able to see around your scope. I hate just having the black thing. Rip, when you're talking about they get rid of the drop shadows and all the HUD texts, can you see any of it on here? You mean like here? See here and here, not too much here.
Graphics guys did an amazing job at implementing the shaders for these, so the scopes just look way more realistic than they used to be. Nice reflections and a parallax effect. This is something different.
Just a gorgeous view. I can't wait for you guys to see them. It's probably the most exciting thing for me personally in 323.
If you look through the scope, you actually see the scope insides. And depending on if it's a holographic scope, a telescopic scope, or a TV screen scope, the shader will look different as well. And then we took it and brought it to basically every scope, adjusted the shader so that it looks nice on that particular scope, and added a few other functionalities to scopes as well. For example, we will have multiple zoom levels on scopes. Currently we just have 8 times zoom, but in the future for 323 we will be able to have 8 times and 16 times zoom, or 2 times and 4 times zoom.
And because our new recoil is a lot more aggressive and dynamic, it means that the reticle is moving as you'd expect on screen relative to where the actual barrel is. So not only does it help with the new procedural recoil, it also helps with the believability of the optics as well.
So I think the whole scope experience or ADS experience with scopes is just gonna get better from here on.
I don't like this. You see this? Why it seems why have they kept 2? That's a weird decision for me, unless you guys know anything else about this. Why does 2 there? Also, can I ask guys, is the sound all right on that? Is it quiet enough and you can still hear me when I'm talking? But yeah, that's a weird one. That's proper weird. I really do like this. Like you said, or maybe that is a bit too much with this drop shadow thing here. There's your backpack thing. You can see it clearly now there. That's looking really nice, that. And this. I think, yeah, I get what you mean. Like this drunk, it does feel like you've got this drunk, like blurredness to it though, doesn't it?
Dynamic crosshair is also coming in Alpha 323.
Dynamic crosshair it's in the name, it's a crosshair. But the good thing about our crosshair is it's a little more futuristic, a little bit more sci-fi.
So in 323, when you equip a combat visor, you'll have a dynamic crosshair on your screen. This follows the barrel of the gun, which is really cool because if you're reloading and you pull the gun up like that, the crosshair will actually go off screen like that. So it fits into the aesthetic of Star Citizen because it's grounded in the context of where the barrel actually is, which is really cool because if you've got a pistol which shoots a bit more up like this, it actually follows it as you would expect. Previously, you were always kind of point shooting, and it causes a problem in not knowing how big your crosshair actually is for your weapon. So we had to make the spread on the weapons a bit smaller than usual because if you're going to point shoot,
Does
you
it
have
mean
the
hip
issue
fire?
of like, where is my bullet actually going to go? This allows us
You
to
mean
say,
hip
hey,
fire,
this is
doesn't it?
actually kind of what your cone of spread is, and we can increase the spread values of weapons themselves, which leads to better gameplay and people actually focusing on ADSing down sights, even in like 10-meter engagement ranges.
And it also just gives that player a little bit of extra information, so when you're hiding behind a wall or you're close to proximity with an object, the crosshair is actually going to let you know if you're going to hit the object or if you're going to shoot past it.
I've
It
heard
is gonna
people
seem
saying
weird,
this is
yeah.
unrealistic. I'm fairly certain we can do this with our technology today. So 900 years in the future shouldn't be a problem to have at least military tech to have this crosshair component to them.
It's a crosshair that not only fits the aesthetic of Star Citizen, but cleanly fits into what you'd expect for Star Citizen as well.
We are able to deactivate it, so if you don't like it, there's a menu option for you. You can also disable the new hit markers independently of the crosshair. So if you just prefer to keep the hit markers, you can keep them. If you prefer to keep the crosshair and not the hit markers, you can do that as well.
So you can fully utilize it to make it your own, what you want from the games. You can have it completely off or on. And then we have things like obviously updated hit markers, and we also have a final hit red X as well to let you know that you've confirmed that kill.
It's a
That's it's pretty good. Gimbal guns. There's so many things. Gimbal guns. That's a good one. But yeah, I'm liking the things, and the ability to be able to turn them off and stuff like that is really good as well. I'm really looking forward to the FPS side of it. I'm not so much into the ship for ship combat, but I am really, really into FPS games like COD. You guys might see on the other channel I play COD. Really into the FPS stuff, so bunkers and stuff like that. I'm going to start loving that stuff, I think.
completely optional feature, but I think you're gonna like it.
Oh, me and Peter have been in there.
So I think the reason why I'm so excited and the team's so excited about why these new changes to FPS are going to be so dynamic and completely change the game is I just think it makes our game so much more modern. It makes it so much more lively and really expressive. Now weapon manufacturers are going to have much more of a unique brand to them. And the same with with our new amazing scopes. You know, if you compare the scopes that we have now to what we have coming in 323, it is going to be completely, I think, game-changing.
We're obviously going to do things in the future, like when we get wear and tear in, apply wear and tear to when you shoot those things, because we still want that to be a believable experience. Bullet blocking is an issue. It will literally be gone from like grenades and magazines and everything like that, so even backpacks. So people previously would have to shoot people in the legs if they wanted to consistently land shots, which is a problem because realistically that's not a good feeling of like, I'm behind you, I have to shoot you in the legs so I can focus on shooting you in the chest now.
We really like the fact that the crosshair is basically kind of starting the whole archetypes for armors. So as we move down into the PU, we want our armor sets to become more specific to their needs.
If you look.
So, guys, are they saying on this that they're removing you having to shoot somebody in the leg because the backpack would stop the bullet, but wouldn't the backpack stop the bullet anyway in the real situation? Is that what they're saying? Because, or are they saying that it will now stop the bullets and you would have to shoot them in the legs, so now you have to get into a position to shoot them in the front? Is that what they're saying?
Look at our game. Half of this is basically FPS combat, and these improvements will bring the FPS combat to AAA standard and make it feel like
AAA standard.
Yeah, more polished experience. It's not something that you can put into words, but something that that you will appreciate while playing our game. And I hope all of these changes make your time in the verse more fun.
I think this just is so much more about gameplay. It's less about getting bogged down in menus. It's more about on the action. And it also integrates so amazingly with our HUD.
A fluid experience, which is what we're aiming for, which is what we, really want to deliver. See you in a bit. Oh, I have to get the microphone. Yeah.
So, what did we learn this week? We probably can't do this in a helmet. We learned that procedural recoil system reaches all FPS weapons in Alpha 323. That the dynamic crosshair will enable some occasional hip-fire goodness. That new scopes means better ways to refund your enemies' lives. And that reloading changes means more of the pew-pew and less of the phew-phew. Sometimes I hate me too. For Inside Star Citizen, I'm Jared Huckabee. Thanks for letting us share the process of game development with you, and we'll see you all here next week. For the character customizer.
That's going to be good. I say it's going to be good. The character customizer. It's character customization, which we'll get into next week. I'm not too sure. It'd be good, but I'm not too sure on it because I don't want to have to create a character and then I would see when there's a wipe, I have to recreate that character. You've got to have the ability to be able to save it, and I'm hoping that's what they bring in and to talk about that next time. When you're talking about taking away the immersion part, like taking off the frying pan on PUBG. PUBG. My light's gone off. How's that look? Does it still look all right? My light went off. It's got low battery. Let me charge that up. I thought I charged it earlier. Nope. I'll charge it. So what are your guys' thoughts on that? Noobs love noobs.